project stakeholder management, a knowledge area responsible or giving us a tools and technique to engage stakeholder. Yes, now the PMBOK is more about engaging stakeholder rather than managing them. Let us understand who are the stakeholders. We have a project team in which you are the boss, and on top of it we have a sponsor who is funding the project, and on there is an upper layer which is called stakeholders. Now these are the stakeholders, could be a government agency, a functional manager, environmental group, another project manager, PM from another project who may want to take output of your project as an input for their work, could be vendors, could be customers if you are doing for particular customer. So you may have a good amount of people who are getting impacted by your project work. So these are the people who are either positively or negatively getting affected by your project. Yes, we also consider the people who are negatively getting impacted. Who could be the negative stakeholder? For example, if you are trying to automate a production process as an output of your project, so the people who are performing the same work manually may become a negative stakeholder because they may not want to have this project succeeded. Now this particular knowledge area helps us in managing the stakeholder engagement. So we need to focus on stakeholders engagement. Do focus on this particular word. We are moving away from stakeholder management to stakeholder engagement. Now, in order to engage them, what do we need to do? First, we need to identify them. So the first process which comes under project stakeholder management is identification of stakeholders. So identify stakeholders. This is an important process as far as exam is concerned because this is the second process in an initiating process group, and we only have 2 processes in an initiating process group. So do put a good amount of attention to identify stakeholders. So as an output of this particular process, we would be getting a list of people and some assessment of their interest, their influence, etc., etc. Once we get this list, we need to find out or make a plan for engaging stakeholders. So we need to perform a process which is called plan stakeholder management. This process gives us stakeholder management plan, a plan which helps us in engaging the stakeholder throughout the project life cycle. This plan also tells us what kind of actions we should take in order to engage the stakeholder. Process to manage stakeholder engagement. So once we are done with the planning, first we did an identification, then we did a planning of engaging those guys, and then we need to engage them. So manage stakeholder engagement is about a process which helps us in executing the action items identified in stakeholder management plan. Executing the steps, the activities we want to perform in order to get a collaboration or a cooperation from stakeholders. A final process for this knowledge area: control stakeholder engagement. This is something controlling plan versus actual, planned action versus actual actions performed. Do we need to do some change in our stakeholder engagement approach? A monitoring and controlling process group process, which helps us in engaging and monitoring the stakeholder engagement. Is somebody getting more engaged than expected? Is somebody becoming neutral where he's expected to be very active in a project process? So this process will help us in doing the actual versus as planned or an expected analysis. So in the subsequent videos, we will get into each of these 4 processes and we'll see how the PMBOK 5 is helping us in engaging stakeholders.